Good morning. Aloha, everyone. My name is Karen. I'm the OSHA lady, and I'm on a mission to change how we deliver safety training. And it all begins with a catchy title, as you can see, because we know that we cannot disinfect and we cannot sterilize unless we clean first. So I always thought, well, I've got to come up with something that's going to get their attention right away. Also from this picture, you also might have gleaned that I'm originally from Honolulu, Hawaii. I moved out to Columbus, Ohio to attend The Ohio State University, where I got my BA in communications. And I stuck around. I got my master's in business and a master's in healthcare administration because, as you all know, the weather in Columbus, Ohio is exactly like it is in Hawaii. I'm just kidding, Facebook world. If you've never been to Hawaii, the temperature is not the same. It absolutely is not. But I also knew that when I got recruited from the emergency department to work at the Ohio State University College of Dentistry, that it didn't matter what I said on the stage. It didn't matter how much I knew. That if I couldn't get my students engaged, they weren't going to learn. And if they didn't learn, they weren't going to be able to implement this information later on when they go back to their practices, which is ultimately what we want. We want them to have a safe practice. We want them to have a safe work environment. We want them to provide safe care for our patients. So my very first exercise with my students or with my clients or whenever I'm doing a presentation is a very simple one. And I'm going to share this one with all of you too. And there's multiple reasons why I start off this way. It has nothing to do with OSHA and infection control necessarily, but it is meant to fire up your neurons and get them warmed up because I am the first speaker. The caffeine hasn't kicked in yet. And I want to get you guys in an open and receptive space to learn and absorb as if you've never been in dentistry before, as if this was your very first day out of the dental clinic or dental hygiene clinic. And the question is a simple one. On the count of 3, I want you to tell me, what color is this shoe? 1, 2, 3. Green. Let's do that one again. 1, 2, 3. Green. Okay. How many of you guys say gray and teal? How many of you guys saw pink and white? All right. Who's sitting next to someone who saw a different color than you? Yeah? Okay. All right. Sam and Deb, who's wrong? This is where you guys point to each other now. You're like, she's wrong, right? Okay. Sam, what color did you see? Pink and white. Deb? Blue and white. Okay, I'm going to have you guys swap seats for me real quick. Don't worry. I know once you get the seats to your proper butt temperature, you don't want to leave it, so you'll be able to go back. Don't worry. Okay. Now, do you see the same color or a different color? Same? Good. That worked out exactly how I wanted. You can go back to your seats. Everybody give our first volunteers a round of applause. Thank you so much. Yeah. The point of this is that it has nothing to do with what color is on the screen. It has nothing to do with the science behind what you see. And I promise you in Facebook world, you're not going colorblind. The purpose of this exercise is to point out the fact that is it possible we're all looking at the same thing, but seeing something completely different. And that's how it is in OSHA and infection control. The dental assistant turning over the operatory in Op 2 may not be disinfecting the same way that the dental assistant in Op 3 might be doing it. And the hygienist who's reprocessing instruments in the back might not be doing it the same way as her fellow colleague. And that's why we have to go back to basics when it comes to safety. And I know your team members roll their eyes when you say, hey, everybody, it's time for annual OSHA training. Nobody here, let's be real, we're all dental professionals here. Nobody here woke up extra early like it was Christmas when you knew it was time for your annual OSHA training. Anybody here? Anybody here? Nobody, right? Exactly. So your team members will tell you, oh, but we get this training every single year. We already know this. Hep B, Hep C, HIV. What else are you going to tell me that's new? Well, there's a lot that I can tell you that's new. Anybody here have little ones? Shanna, how old are your little ones? 12 and 14. Okay. How old? What are their names? Evie and Maya. How old were Evie and Maya when you said, go grab some shoes. We're going to go to the store and make sure those shoes match? How old were they able to do that? Early. Like how old? 4 years old, right? Okay. So I had a former dental student coming back into town in Columbus. He set up a very successful oral surgery practice in Colorado. He used to work in my lab at Ohio State. And he said, hey, let's get the gang together. I'm going to be back in town. Let's grab lunch. I said, absolutely, let's do that. So then I first start off at Staples because I have to grab some handouts for some clients. I'm doing a practice, an endo practice as OSHA training. And I stop in there and the cashier's like, hey, love what you've done with your shoes. Now, remember, I'm from Hawaii and my mom sends me care packages from Hawaii throughout the year. They're nothing really major. They are special to me, though, because it lets me know that Mom was thinking about me throughout the year. And so this time she sent me some sandals. Now, you know I live in Columbus. And in Columbus, the weather only gives me 5 months where I can wear warm weathered shoes. Finally, the weather broke. The student came into town. I put on these sandals. I went about my day, got my first compliment from this cashier at Staples. I was floating on air. We go to lunch, and the host says, gosh, I really love your fashion taste. And I'm like, well, thank you. These are my special sandals from Hawaii. My mom sent them to me. They make me feel special. And then I go to the library because I'm an avid reader, and the librarian's like, hey, love what you've done with your shoes. So then I'm like feeling like a girl with a dress with pockets, right? You guys know that reference, right? And I decided I'm going to line up the shot. I'm going to post this on social media. So I take a picture. I line up the shot. I look through the lens, and this is what I see. I had gone all day with 2 different kinds of shoes on. Now, after the embarrassment died off, I still posted this. And immediately my friends were on social media being supportive. My one dental friend, Kim, she goes, oh, I've done that with 2 different sneakers. In fact, she says, I've run a half marathon with 2 left sneakers before. And then my hygiene friend chimes, she goes, I have pumps that are similar in style. One is black and one is navy. And I've gone out wearing those. It's no big deal, right? So I kind of felt a little bit better for a little while. But then I realized, you know what, guys? One of these shoes goes between my toes and the other one slides on my foot. How did I not pick up on that? The librarian tried to make me feel good, and she goes, oh, don't feel bad. That happens around here all the time. And I felt good for a little while until I realized she worked in the children's section of the library. So yes, we get this training every single year, but lapses happen. I've been able to dress myself since I was 4 years old, and yet I left the house looking like this. The other thing I like to demonstrate with my audiences is all the different safety violations that exist out there on the internet. Here's one of them. See if you can spot the safety violation. Here's another one. My ex, there's a reason why he's my ex now. My ex has done something like this before. This is a PPE violation. I don't know about you, but if you saw a bunch of people in hazmat suits standing around, I wouldn't be there with my shorts anywhere in that vicinity, right? And then you have these geniuses. They get an A for creativity, but an F for safety. So what do they all have in common? Beer. She said beer. Maybe beer. Alcohol. It doesn't surprise me that alcohol is involved in this one. What else do they all have in common? Joy says they're all men, everybody. All right, I can't argue with that, Joy. Yes, they are all men. The answer I was going for is that they all are obvious violations. I have to educate on the not so obvious when you go back to your offices. But yes, you're absolutely right. I couldn't find any, Joy. I couldn't find any with women in it. I think there's a reason why we outlive men for a reason, right? We also do this not only to empower our employees and protect our practice, but to protect our patients too. Our actions matter. And in a post-COVID world, our patients are watching us now more than ever what we're doing. Now, this is Jen Maroney. I met her on the speaker circuit. It was right after I was presenting for a state dental association. And Jen was presenting on eye safety. Eye safety for the patient, eye safety for the employee. Now, hers was born out of an adverse event. She was at an endo practice in Pennsylvania. It was right next door to me in Columbus, Ohio. And she was sitting in the chair. She was not offered safety eyewear, nor was she aware that she should have asked for some. The endodontist administered the anesthetic injection, passed the needle to his assistant, passed it across Jen's face, and the needle was uncapped, and the needle slipped, and the needle went into her eye. If you tend to get squeamish, don't look at this next slide. I'll tell you when you can look back up again, so I'm giving you fair warning. But she said, I woke up the next day, and this is what my eye looked like. And she said, my brain felt like it was on fire. Well, that's what happens when you inject streptococcus bacteria into somebody's eye. Any patient ever wake up and go, I've got a dental appointment today. There's a real possibility that I might lose an eye. People always ask me, is she okay? Yeah, she's relatively speaking. She's okay. She now speaks. She took this negative event and turned it into something very powerful. But she lost an eye. She has a prosthetic eye now. Her life is impacted forever by one reckless action in a dental setting. For that reason, I know I've got to make sure that I educate in a way that my audience understands the why and the importance behind what they do. My name is Karen. I'm the OSHA lady, and I'm on a mission to change how we deliver safety training. Thank you.